It started with a crash. Chapter 1. A chaotic morning. Sage jolted awake to the realization that her alarm hadn't gone off. It was her first day at a new job, and she was already behind schedule. She jumped out of bed, scrambled into the shower, and tried to get herself ready in record time. In her rush, she managed to put on mismatched socks and buttoned her blouse askew. Her cat, Whiskers, watched her dash around with mild amusement from the kitchen counter. "Sorry, buddy. Breakfast is going to be quick today," Sage muttered as she hastily filled his bowl with kibbles, earning an indignant meow from Whiskers. With a final glance in the mirror, Sage grabbed her phone, purse, and a stack of documents she'd prepared the night before and bolted out the door, praying she'd make it in time. Chapter 2. A messy encounter. Sage was already running late after her alarm mishap, but her luck seemed to have taken a turn for the worse. As she reached the subway station, she found the train platform bustling with impatient commuters. A quick glance at the departure board confirmed her fears. The train was delayed. She paced back and forth, clutching her phone in one hand with the other, gripping the stack of documents she needed for her first day. Each passing minute felt like an eternity, her anxiety climbing with every glance at the ticking clock. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the train arrived with a clamorous whoosh, doors opening to flood the platform with bodies vying for a spot. Sage squeezed into the crowd, managing to find a small space to stand as the train swayed and jerked along the tracks. Her heart raced, matching the rhythm of the clattering train. She tried to calm herself by rehearsing her introduction for the meeting, mentally ticking off each task she needed to accomplish that morning. But even the rehearsed words seemed jumbled in her mind amid the clanging of the tracks. When the train finally screeched to her stop, Sage rushed through the station, weaving between commuters with the grace of someone in a déjà vu dance of chaos. As she burst out onto the street, she made a beeline for her go-to coffee shop, silently hoping caffeine might work miracles on her haphazard morning. Her mind was still preoccupied with her impending meeting when she turned the corner, looking down to check her phone notifications. In the bustling rush, she collided with someone stepping out of the shop, his coffee cup launching from his grip in a spectacular coffee volcano. The world seemed to pause as Sage looked up, horrified, meeting the gaze of a very unimpressed Oliver. His white shirt was now an abstract masterpiece of coffee stains. "Oh no," she stammered, her face a picture of mortification. "I'm so sorry, I didn't see you." Oliver attempted to dab at the mess, surprise turning to frustration. "Great," he muttered, his morning clearly ruined. I'll pay for dry cleaning," Sage offered helplessly, surrounded by scattered papers and coffee-soaked napkins. Oliver sighed, clearly exasperated. "Don't worry about it," he replied curtly, brushing past her, leaving Sage amidst the aftermath of their collision. Flustered and embarrassed, Sage gathered her things, feeling as if the universe had conspired to make her first day as memorable and disastrous as possible. Little did she know, the morning wouldn't be the last surprise waiting for her as she dashed towards her new workplaces.
Chapter 3. Oliver's morning. Oliver was accustomed to chaos, but the morning's events took disorder to a new level. After the unexpected coffee encounter, he hurried to his office, his mood soured and his shirt now a mess of caffeine stains. As he strode into his workspace, his secretary, Clara, looked up from behind her desk, concern etched on her face. "Oliver, what happened to you?" she asked, eyeing the stained shirt with a mix of amusement and sympathy. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Just my luck," he replied dryly. "I ran into someone on the way out of the coffee shop, and my coffee spilled all over me." Clara chuckled, handing him a spare shirt she kept just for such emergencies. "Well, let's hope that's the extent of today's surprises." "Fingers crossed," Oliver said, retreating to change and settle behind his desk. Once in his office sanctuary, Oliver turned his attention to the glowing screen, diving into emails and phone calls that quickly absorbed his focus. The routine helped dispel some of the morning's frustrations as he problem-solved and strategized, falling into the familiar rhythm of work. Time slipped by unnoticed, until the persistent nagging of a calendar reminder prompted him to glance at the clock. It was nearly 10:30. With little time to spare, Oliver collected his notes and made his way to the conference room. ready to lead his first major meeting since taking up the position of VP. As he scanned the room, Oliver's professional demeanor faltered for a split second. Amidst the sea of new faces sat the very woman responsible for his impromptu sartorial change. Sage. He realized from the introductions their earlier encounter echoed in his mind, and he watched as Sage's expression shifted from focused to mortified upon making eye contact. Despite himself, Oliver felt a hint of amusement at the situation, intrigued by the twist of fate that had brought her into his professional sphere. Throughout the meeting, he maintained his composure, leading discussions and outlining visions for upcoming campaigns. Yet, he couldn't help but notice Sage's efforts to appear engaged. Her previous anxiety from their encounter replaced by a steely determination, one that piqued his curiosity. As the meeting concluded, Oliver found himself anticipating a post-meeting conversation he was certain would occur. And while he wasn't one to dwell on first impressions, he was curious to see how Sage would navigate their second-chance encounter in a more professional.
Chapter 4. A Rough Start. Arriving at the office with just 5 minutes to spare, Sage sprinted to the HR department to finish her onboarding paperwork. She hastily scribbled her signature on various forms, her mind already racing toward the 10:30 meeting she couldn't afford to miss. With the ink barely dried, she grabbed her belongings and hurried to the conference room, sliding into a seat just as the clock struck 10:30. Her heart was still pounding from the morning's chaos, but she forced herself to focus on the introductions taking place. As she scanned the room, her gaze landed on the man at the head of the table. Recognition dawned with a mix of horror and disbelief. It was Oliver. The man she had unceremoniously doused in coffee was not just another colleague, but her new boss. Throughout the meeting, Sage struggled to concentrate, knowing she needed to apologize properly. As the meeting adjourned, she stayed behind, waiting until the room was nearly empty. "Oliver," she began hesitantly, approaching him as he sorted his notes. "I'm really sorry about this morning. That was, well, not how I wanted to start my first day." He paused, offering her a glance that was just short of amused. "It's all right, I understand mornings can be unpredictable." Sage took a breath, deciding to go the extra mile. "Please, let me replace that shirt. I really didn't mean to." Before she could finish, Oliver shook his head with a small, polite smile. "No need, really. Accidents happen." Feeling slightly deflated but appreciating his forgiveness, Sage nodded. "Well, if you change your mind, just let me know." Turning to leave, Sage managed only a couple steps before disaster struck. Completely unaware of the hem of her own skirt, she tripped over her feet. There was a collective gasp as her shoe's heel snapped, sending her stumbling forward in a dramatic, ungraceful fall. Face flushed and utterly embarrassed, Sage found herself sprawled awkwardly on the carpet, noting the incredulous look on Oliver's face as he quickly moved to help her up. "I'm fine, I swear," Sage mumbled, trying to maintain some semblance of dignity. With Oliver's assistance, she managed to stand, though the broken heel left her slightly off balance. Oliver, to his credit, summoned a reassuring smile. "Quite an entrance and exit you've made today. Don't worry about it, really," he said, tone lighter than before. Sage managed a laugh, albeit a nervous one. "I promise I'm not always this clumsy," she said, attempting humor. "First day jitters, I guess." Oliver's chuckle was genuine this time, softening the awkwardness. "Let's call it an eventful start, then. Welcome aboard, Sage." Despite the mortifying mishap, Sage felt a flicker of relief. Maybe things weren't off to the smoothest of starts, but she sensed the beginnings of understanding, and perhaps a bit of intrigue, both of which were promising beginnings beneath the blunders.
Chapter 5. A Memorable Impression. After Sage left the room, Oliver found himself alone in the conference room. The silence enveloped him, bringing the events of the past hour into stark relief. Unable to hold it in any longer, he burst into laughter, the sound echoing off the walls. It was a genuine, hearty laugh, the kind that releases tension and brings a sense of unexpected joy. Just as he composed himself, his phone buzzed on the table. Glancing at the screen, he saw it was his friend Marcus calling. Still chuckling to himself, he answered with a lightness in his voice he hadn't expected to feel after such a morning. "Marcus, Oliver Marcus responded, immediately picking up on the unusual cheer. "You sound suspiciously happy. Did something happen?" Oliver leaned back in his chair, a grin still playing on his lips. "Just had one of the craziest starts of a day," he admitted, feeling a kinship with the chaos that only a close friend could understand. "Oh," Marcus pressed, clearly intrigued. "Do tell." "Well," Oliver began, a smile widening with the memory. "It involves a lot of coffee, an unexpected meeting with some fantastic floor work, and someone I think I'm going to have to keep a close eye on." Marcus laughed. "Sounds like I need a lot more details. This sounds too good to be a typical day at the office." "I'll fill you in later," Oliver promised, his mood lifted by both the recollection and the retelling. "Let's just say, it's been an unusual morning. Good kind of unusual." After finishing the call, Oliver returned to his tasks, but his thoughts drifted back to his first meeting with Sage. There was something refreshingly honest about her, even in her moments of clumsiness and embarrassment. The way she handled herself, her humor and resilience despite everything, piqued his curiosity. Throughout the day, whenever his mind wandered back to her, he caught himself smiling again. It was an unexpected and pleasant state of mind that seemed to brighten each meeting and email he tackled. By evening, Oliver realized the day hadn't just been eventful, it had set the stage for something new and intriguing. As he packed up his things, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of an unforeseen chapter, one colored by surprises and the potential for unexpected connections.